Happy Halloween, everyone. So, it's Thursday. It's day 4 of my week-long themed Halloween event for film review. Technically Friday, although it's going to be Friday tomorrow, and I've got something special planned for tomorrow, but more about that later. Today, we've got to get on with the movie I'm going to be reviewing. So, yesterday, as I ended my Joker review, by the way, if you haven't seen it, go watch it, because I personally believe it's one of my better reviews. But yesterday, as I was about to end the video, I said today we were going to be back on the sci-fi trend, and we were going to be talking about Aliens horror movie and sort of stuff. And what is the biggest sort of like sci-fi horror movie that most people think of when they associate with like aliens and that? It's Alien. So that's what we're going to be going over today. So don't get me wrong, Alien is a fantastic movie. I love it. It's brilliant for horror and stuff, but I think for a start we need to get some of the bad aspects out of it out of the way first. For example, it's one of those movies which you watch and you can appreciate the nostalgia for it and how at the time it could be scary. Personally, when I watched Alien for the first time, I wasn't really scared. There were a couple moments where I did jump because it is quite a jumpy movie, and I can see how people would have found it scary at the time. It's very similar to Jaws in the aspect that it's sort of aged well with nostalgia and being a classic movie, but not in the essence that it's a horror anymore, because for me personally, I have seen scary movies. However, that is my only real criticism with Alien, the fact that through time it hasn't aged well in the horror aspect. That being said, Alien is by far one of the better horror movies I've watched in my lifetime, because there's certain scenes and certain things it does right which people just remember. Like, for example, the main thing about the film, which even if you haven't seen the film you will know, is the scene where they're at the dinner table and John Hurt's eating something and he has a bad reaction to it, or that's what everyone thinks he does, and the alien bursts out of his chest. It's the chest burster scene. Everyone, 9 times out of 10, will have heard of that scene from Alien. Even if you've never watched the film, you will have known of the chest burster scene, because it's parodied and used so often in other films that it just, like, it shows how well that scene was carried out and how effective it's been throughout the ages, which is one thing I love about Alien, the fact that it's throughout time it's been a parodied movie throughout, which just shows how well they crafted it. And another thing I love about it is the slogan for it: "In space, no one can hear you scream." And that to me is just, it's so powerful to see just what movies can do, because everybody at least knows something from the Alien genre, Alien like films and that lot, because it's parodied through other movies no end of time. You see it in TV, in adverts, in other films. It's just so powerful that what that film did. And I really appreciate what they were trying to go for with it, because up until a certain point, nobody had really seen a sci-fi movie which was relatively scary. Then Alien came along and terrified the hell out of people at the time it was released. Of course, it doesn't necessarily do it now, but back when it was first released, it was like Jaws and Jurassic Park. They were terrifying movies, if you can believe that now. Of course, we've moved on since then, and CGI and special effects and all of that has taken over. But for the time it was released, Alien was a terrifying movie, and you can see it while you're watching it, because it's got aspects of it which make it a scary movie. It's got a huge, one of the things I love it does is it plays on claustrophobia in certain parts. For example, the air ventilation scene where he's having to crawl through to try and find out where the xenomorph is, and the xenomorph's tracking him down. That plays on claustrophobia so well, and I think it's brilliant for playing on people's fears. However, like I've said, it doesn't really age well for horror. I wasn't particularly scared whilst watching it, but like I say, I can see how people would get scared of this. So I think that's as much as I've got to say about Alien. It's Alien. Most people have already heard about the film, or have seen scenes from it, or know the slogan, or know bits about Alien already. You can't really go around talking about films if you don't know much about Alien or haven't seen much about Alien. So apart from that, I think we're going to move on to the ratings, because I've said all I really need to say about Alien. It's a classic film that most people know, and it's a great one to watch if you want a Halloween event. So for Alien, like I say, because it hasn't really aged well with the horror and stuff, but nostalgia and being a classic film and having the slogan and the effect on adverts in future TV and movies and all of that, I think I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, because unfortunately it lacks horror today, but back in the day it would have had such a massive effect on people when they went to watch it, like you would not believe. So that is my review for Thursday complete. I will be back tomorrow with a 5th and final one, and I think it's got to be a big one. I think we've got to go with psychological horror and stuff. So I'm going to do a proper horror movie tomorrow. I know I've only done really like 2 or 3 because I've sort of based it around Halloween. But tomorrow I'm going to review a proper horror movie. And yeah, so I think that concludes part 4 of my week-long themed Halloween-ish sort of review event. I will see you all tomorrow. I've been Connor. This has been Film Review Friday on a Thursday. Until tomorrow, goodbye.